Now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews, exclusively here as always on the Casa D18 Studios channel. I, of course, am your host, the Renegade JJ Williams, and it's New Release Saturday, time to return to the multiplex, and today we're going to discuss John Wick Chapter 4, starring Keanu Reeves, Donnie Yen, Bill Skarsgård, Lawrence Fishburne, Ian McShane, Lance Reddick, Hiroyuki Sanada, and Shamir Anderson. What's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining me here once again for another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews. As I said in the introduction, it's New Release Saturday, so we went back to the multiplex, and today we're going to take a look at John Wick Chapter 4. And our movie opens in New York City as John Wick prepares to exact revenge against the High Table while hiding underground with the Bowery King. Wick travels to Morocco and kills the Elder, the one who sits above the table. In response, the Marquis Vincent de Gramont, a member of the High Table, summons New York Continental manager Winston and his concierge Sharon. Vincent explains that the High Table has released him from following normal rules and has given him unlimited resources so that he can find and kill John Wick. He then chastises Winston for his failure to assassinate Wick. So as punishment, Vincent strips Winston of his duties as manager of the Continental, declares him excommunicado, and destroys the Continental, and then he executes Sharon. Vincent then travels to Paris, France, and enlists Kane, a blind, retired, high-table assassin, to kill his old friend, John Wick, threatening to murder Kane's daughter if he fails to do so. John takes refuge at the Osaka, Japan Continental, which is ran by his friend, Koji. Vincent's aide, Chidi, backed by high-table assassins as well as Kane, arrive at the Osaka Continental to investigate the hotel. Now, Koji's daughter, Akira, the hotel's concierge, evacuates the hotel just before the High Table deconsecrates it, igniting a melee. John fights through waves of armored assassins, and a showdown with Kane is interrupted by a bounty hunter who calls himself Mr. Nobody. He aids in Wick's escape after determining that the contract money for killing John is insufficient. Kane allows a wounded Akira to flee after reluctantly killing her father. John returns to New York and meets with a vengeful Winston at Sharon's gravesite. Winston advises John to invoke an old High Table tradition in order to challenge Vincent to a duel. Winning would then free Wick of all obligations to the High Table, but he can only request a duel on behalf of a crime family. So John travels to the Berlin headquarters of the Ruska Roma crime syndicate, with whom he had severed ties, in order to request readmission to the family. His adoptive sister, Katya, agrees to his request in exchange for John killing Killa, a High Table member who murdered her father. And although Killa sets up an ambush at his nightclub, John still manages to kill him and regain status. Meanwhile, Winston relays John's formal challenge to Vincent and requests that should Wick win, the New York Continental would be rebuilt, with him reinstated as the manager. In Paris, John and Vincent decide the parameters of their duel. Dueling pistols at sunrise at the Sacré-Cœur, during a meeting moderated by the Harbinger, the table's emissary. Vincent then nominates a reluctant Kane to fight in his place. John and Winston will be executed. John and Winston discover that they will be executed should either man fail to appear on time. And the Bowery King arrives in Paris in order to give John a pistol and a new ballistic suit. Now, Vincent intends to prevent John from arriving at the duel in time by placing a $26 million bounty on his head. John now has to fight off hordes of assassins on his way. John now has to fight off hordes of assassins on his way to Sacré-Cœur, including Mr. Nobody, who negotiates a bounty increase to $40 million. During their confrontation, Wick prevents Chidi from killing Mr. Nobody's beloved dog. As a result, a stunned Mr. Nobody decides to abandon his pursuit of Wick. After Kane and Mr. Nobody assist John in fighting off several assassins, including Chidi, whom Mr. Nobody kills at a long staircase that leads to Sacré-Cœur, they reach the summit just in time for the duel. Over the first 2 rounds of dueling, John and Kane inflict serious wounds on each other. However, the 3rd round comes to a halt when Kane severely wounds Wick. Demanding the right to administer the coup de grace, Vincent swaps places with Kane. However, John, who had not yet fired his 3rd bullet, shoots and kills the unsuspecting Vincent. The Harbinger then grants Kane and Wick their freedom from the high table, and Winston is reinstated. After collapsing on the staircase, John reflects on his life and his marriage before succumbing to his injuries. Sometime later, Winston and the Bowery King bid farewell to John Wick at his tombstone, located right next to his late wife, Helen's. In our post-credit scene, Kane returns to Paris in order to reunite with his daughter, but he is approached by Akira, who is brandishing a weapon as our movie comes to its close. This was a fun movie, although I'm going to get it right out of the way right now. At about 2 hours and 50 minutes, I felt it was very long. Unnecessarily long. And some of you may be like, but Renegade, Avengers Endgame is almost 3 hours long also. But it took 20-something movies to lead up to that story. We needed a 3-hour movie to tie up loose ends and set up the future of the franchise. With essentially John Wick dying at the end of this, even though there's a post-credit scene that leads to Akira looking like she's about to go after Kane, there's really no need for more of these. John Wick is dead. So unless they do a James Bond-esque spin where now another man arises and uses the moniker of John Wick, the stories are pointless from here on out. I just saw today as I'm filming this a trailer for a limited series, 3-episode miniseries that's going to be coming to the Peacock network called The Continental, a prequel that kind of shows Winston's rise to his position and power at the New York Continental Hotel. 3-episode miniseries. Done. Prequel. Before the events of the first movie. Done. We don't need more now that John Wick is dead. That's my feeling on it. But that as it may, it was a good, fun, exhilarating action movie. I've covered the other 3 movies in the past. My first year back here on the channel doing movies, I did a whole month of trilogies, and John Wick was a trilogy that I featured. So let's just take a moment, get the shills out. Here's my review for John Wick 1. If you've never seen my review for that, take a second. Again, the cast in and of itself in this movie is worth going to see. I mean, Ian McShane, Keanu Reeves, Lawrence Fishburne. Here's the link for John Wick Chapter 2. Donnie Yen. There's so many good people in this film, dedicated to the memory of Lance Reddick, who plays the concierge, Sharon, who's assassinated in the movie. He passed away earlier this year, so the movie is dedicated in his honor. And here's John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum. But I mean, did we really need a 4th movie in the first place? I think that's the major question, because we had a trilogy out of it. I felt like everything went good. I'm not really sold on the fact that we needed a 4th, kind of like the Toy Story franchise. It's been a minute since I've seen John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum, but I feel like we didn't really need a 4th movie. And now that John has been killed, unless they come up with some Frankenstein shit to really resurrect him, it's no point. It needs to end here. Even if they did a spin-off with Kane and Akira, maybe one movie to tie up that loose end. But that's just where I'm coming from it. I'm curious to know your guys' thoughts. But I did enjoy the movie. Like I said, it was a fun, action-filled, exhilarating romp, through New York and Paris and Morocco, and just the cinematography, the acting, the script, really well done. When it comes to my rating for John Wick Chapter 4, I'm going to give it 4.5 out of 5 stars. And I'm only doing that because I felt like it was way too long. Could have probably chopped a good 20, maybe even 30 minutes out of this movie. And I feel you could have gotten the same point across, same story across, and it just been a little bit more cohesive, a little bit better flowing, in my personal opinion. But it's not just about me. It's about you guys too. What did you guys think of John Wick Chapter 4? Let me know. If you're watching the premiere, leave your thoughts and comments over here. And if you're watching on demand later in the day, leave your thoughts and comments down here. Let's have that conversation, that discussion, that debate, that interaction that I'm always asking you guys for in the comments below. And make sure you guys tune in later on this evening, right here to the Casa D18 Studios channel, the Jeff Meacham Network, and across the Jeff Meacham Network multiverse of media, as we once again engage in the Saturday night shenanigans that are Open Mic Night. Myself, the Simple Man Noah Foster, the Heeb Man James Hebert, possibly Jeff Meacham, and whoever else in the team decides that they want to step through the door and up to the microphone will be able to engage us as we discuss the week in professional wrestling. And then tomorrow, right back here on the Casa D18 Studios channel, it'll be time once again to step into the war zone. That's right. It'll be time for another edition of the Weekly Acquisition Report, the show where I, the Renegade, show you, the viewers, the latest additions to my ever-growing movie library. As I touched on yesterday, Dollar Tree has 50-cent movies right now. I have about 5 weeks worth of content coming just from my recent Dollar Tree hauls. So much good stuff in store. You're not going to want to miss out on that. And then later on tomorrow, again, here on the Casa D18 Studios channel, the Jeff Meacham Network, and across the Jeff Meacham Network Multiversa Media, we will be providing our watch-along coverage for Impact Wrestling Rebellion. The Simple Man Noah Foster and the He-Man James Hebert will be on the call, bringing you their live reactions, commentary, predictions, and thoughts on this month's Impact Wrestling offering. You don't want to miss out on any of that content right here on the Casa D18 Studios channel, the Jeff Meacham Network, across the Jeff Meacham Network Multiversa Media. We've got open mic night, the War Zone, pay-per-view watch-along coverage for Impact Wrestling Rebellion, and we still got about 2 more weeks of movies that star musicians. We got such people coming up as Eminem, Cher, Christina Aguilera, David Bowie, Mick Jagger, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Kid and Play. So much more in store right here on the Casa D18 Studios channel and Renegades Reviews. So make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure that notification bell is turned on so you don't miss out anytime a video drops right here on the Casa D18 Studios channel or anytime we go live, as is the case with Statboy Sports Bar, Open Mic Night, pay-per-view PLE watch-along coverage, etc. Share these videos with your family, friends, loved ones, coworkers, movie fanatics, cinephiles in your life, fans of Keanu Reeves, fans of Donnie Yen, fans of Ian McShane or Lawrence Fishburne or Lance Reddick, may he rest in peace. Anybody you can think of that would enjoy this content in this video, share it with them. It's the only way we're going to keep my visibility in YouTube's algorithms now that we are a monetized platform. Thank you once again to everyone out there who joined me and tuned in today and that helped to make me a monetized channel. It means so much more to me than you guys will ever know. And I will see you guys next time.